Oh, there we go. This is part of a garage door. This is where the axle runs through. You'll notice on this prop that we're doing, this fits over it. Nice and sweet. It's got a little bit of slop, but if these were distance apart, you could build one. That's actually a really decent bearing. And actually, that's great for helping to balance the prop. Anyway, over here, well, we finished up. Added a couple more pieces here. Run short bolts through where we had. Made this where it'll connect a little bit more. This is aluminum foil tape. I wrapped it with the sticky side out. And basically, if you sink your fingernail into it, you can make it to where they thread off. And you can tighten them down. That keeps them from falling off. That's pretty tight right there. Well, we got it all painted red. Down there's a little splatter from welding and stuff, but looking pretty nice. She got pretty scratched up running back and forth to Louisville and back and forth to the house on the truck. So we got that. There's one more piece that goes on the bottom here. And I finished up the stator. Stator looks pretty good. Got a couple little bubble pits, but not that bad. This is after casting and after troubleshooting and all that stuff, so got the holes drilled. That one came mighty close to the edge. We'll just have to adapt the mold, but anyway, this is not the final revision, so this might just be one of a kind right here. So we got this all set up. This is for testing, and now I can put it up there. When she finishes drying, we'll slap it all together and should have some wind a little bit later on this afternoon. Pretty much dry. I'll give it a little while longer. Yeah, a little sticky there. Okay, well, seeing this is a prototype that's not it's basically discontinued. 2 ceiling fan blades. The hole's perfectly lined up. I took a piece of that green square tubing that came off of Boomer's merry-go-round, or the big, huge VAWT. These 2 holes right here will fit these 2 holes right here. And this feels very dry. I think I'm about ready to take it down. Got a magnet rotor over here that I just painted after cleaning it with the aluminum foil tape because it sticks so good. It'll grab them metal filings real good. Of course, the stator. And she's definitely dry now. So I'm going to start assembling this. Well, it seems like we got everything on the bench except for one magnet rotor. Up in the upper left-hand corner, dead center of the screen now, you see a big old ball of washers and nut, bolt. That's one of those 38-pound magnets sitting on top of a soup can. Helps keep track of everything. Real nice and easy. Let's see how fast we can put this together. Brought it out here in the sun to help give us some little better lighting. Oh yeah, I forgot. Right here. Well, this is aluminum foil tape. Real easy to work with because you don't need a pen or anything. You just stick it over the end and put an impression, then cut it out, peel it and stick it. That kept the inside of the bearing case nice and clean. The other one ought to be a little easier to push out. There we go. Pretty. I think I'll stick that to my bench. Alrighty. Next thing is put this here. Then we're going to need this magnet rotor, which I got to peel all the tape that I put around this bearing to protect it. Yeah, that's perfection. My hands over here. Center towards the middle. Line them up. Spin this thing together. The new ones won't have this feature. They're going to be a straight shaft. We're kind of worried about it coming untwisted while it's spinning in the breeze. small problem. These little rails right here are getting in the way of these bolts. I'm going to do a little bit of cutting and we'll be right back. Okay, there we are. One magnet rotor coming up. Find the center of that. Just got to move out first. I'll just go ahead and put this one all the way in. There we are. That's set up. Spin this one on. Very good. Let's rotate this thing on. Well, this design would be pretty good, but especially if you ever had to do bearing maintenance. With these bearings, I really don't think you're ever going to have to. I'd run these with a 10-foot prop even. There we go. Little vibration. Oh yeah, all the tension's off. Now let's take these off. These ought to just spin off. I took my fingernail, stuck it into the thread. Makes it where you can tighten these things up if you want to. There we are. That's the long one. Trim that off afterward, but for now I'm not too worried about it. Alright. There we go. That magnet rotor's installed. Yeah, that's right. I just gave the whole thing a paint job. Okie dokie pokies. This is it. I got these here. These got to come off. I don't think we're going to get a test today. There's very little wind out here. Yeah, I got that little bit of a hump here. I got to back these out. Alright, I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, let's reposition just a little bit. There we go. Well, I've got the bottom one and this one down here in, and I got this one in all the way, and I'll just show you what I was doing while you were off camera. This is all real tight, so it threads through here and also threads through here because it's kind of tight. So basically, taking this like this, I've got one nut here that you're not seeing too well. There we are, right there. What I got to do while I'm doing this is make sure this don't go against that. That's just for this prototype. Like I said, this one's going to be discontinued. A few little design flaws. Now this is all the way in. I'm going to take this back, take my wrench, and I'm going to tighten up against it. That's going to get these tight. Yeah, I haven't tightened this one yet, but those two want to stick together. There we go. Oh yeah, that's nice and tight. Get off of it. I didn't leave myself much clearance on anything. As a matter of fact, look at the size of my hand compared to most of this. I got a pretty big hand, but it's not that big. Pretty small unit. It actually weighs very little as compared to the dual permanent magnet rotor axial flux. This is, my kid could pick this up. Your kid could pick this up. Alrighty. Well, that's all set up. This is still moving. I got to close the gap in on this side. I'll do that with the second nuts. I'll bring these up a little close. Not all the way. Looks like I forgot to wash it. It's alright. The prototype. There it is. I'm not going to take it apart to put it on there, but I'll use it here. Alright, there we go. We got all this set up. I want to adjust this rotor back first. Clean. The 4 washers. 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one's already up here. There we are. And let's see, here, go to the nut supply. There's 1, 2, 38 pounds, huh? Yeah, they hold these real nice. Right now I got 70 watts of solar panels on the roof. I got 65 up underneath the camera, and I got another set out here I was going to hook up. I didn't want to spend the time looking for the wire, but anyway, I got a fan going on in there. I've got my laptop plugged in and booted up. I got the camera charger on. I just want to take this down to right around 1/8 of an inch. And then I'm going to tighten up the other nut up against it. Oh, that seems to be touching. Let's back off. Alright. Bring this one up. There, that's about 1/8 of an inch. Now we have the top. This whole side's got to come over. You don't want to do one of these at a time. For your full adjustment, you want to kind of bring a few of them a little bit at a time. A little bit on this one, a little bit on that one, and watch your gap. 1/6 of a turn makes quite a bit of a difference. I'm going to tighten this one up. I think we're right there where we need to be. Crank it down. Put a nail in it, as they say. Get some light on the subject here. This goes in a little bit more. Right to there. Tighten that up. There we are. And tighten this one up. I think we're good down here, aren't we? Yeah. I'm going to bring that one forward more. Oh, it should turn real easy. If you do one too much, basically what you're doing is bending your stator. You can almost feel it while you're tightening it up. Oh yeah, that looks sweet. I don't want to get my finger between here and here. That could hurt. Another thing we got to watch when we design something for other people. We made a lot of changes between this one and the new one. I think you'll like the new one though. It's going to be a little heavier to ship, but it's going to be one heavy duty unit. There we go. Make this gap nice and even. Tighten it down nice. I think my fan needs a little bit of oil. I'm going to let it cool off. There we go. And the dump load turned on. Shows you it's doing its job. That's doing pretty good. Let's bring them all together so I can feel it. Yeah. Oh, this is going to be real nice. Alright, time to put 4 nuts on here. Somewhere about there, I think. Actually, I'm going to put 8 nuts on here. This is actually weak enough I can work with it to get that rotor on here. I take that one right about there, that one right about there. I'm looking straight down the stator and trying to get the inside edge even with the stator. I'm going to throw these on. I'm going to tighten these against each other, see what my gap looks like, and I'll use that reference right there to tell me how many turns I got to go in or out to get this where I want it. Then I'm going to put another nut on the outside of the rotor and see how that works. Alrighty, I'll be right back. I'm Scott Brown, Green Wind and Other Home Energies. Many good things to you and yours. Well, anyway, I took the bolts out, took the fan and everything off of this. This is a 2-speed deluxe motor metal fan for car, truck, RV, boat, other automobile, 12 volt and 24 volt. Yeah, it's a nice case, ain't it? That's all it is in there. I've seen bigger motors in the Power Wheels. That is a 10 watt, 10 ohm resistor. When it's at 24 volts, it's only allowing 2.4 ohms, 2.4 amps to go in there. At 12 volts, it's allowing 1.2. Anyway, I thought I'd show you. I took it apart so I could oil the other bushing right there, and then one there. I'm going to put this back together, and she ought to run just sweet. Anyway, while I'm taking my break in the cool because it's hot out here, I'll get this set up, then we'll get back to this. I got it on there. It took a little while to adjust it. Got a little bit bigger gap on the back side, but it's all perfectly even. I figure for the demonstration anyway. I'm just going to go ahead and put it together and put the prop on. Let's get some readings. Don't see any wind out here right now. Ugh. Just like on a tire, you don't want to go around in a circle and tighten and snug them up. And this one's already real tight, so I'm going to go all the way across from it. Tighten that one up, then come up to the other two that are across from it. That keeps you from warping a rotor or a rim car. And the last one. Oh yeah. I think that's about sweet. Could use a little bit more perfecting. Alright. I'm going to sand these and stick them together and see how hard it is to turn. Okay, well, I think my target voltage, or my target RPMs for charging is supposed to be about a 212, 214, something like that for the 5-foot prop. But if I turn this, see, I've got this wired up in star. Right here, I've got these three shorted up together. And I've got these three phases going to a 3-phase rectifier right here. And to the voltage DC on the meter. Well, 3 rotations per second is 180 RPM. And there's 13 volts. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're at charging voltage a little early. This might actually hit charging voltage right at about 7 or 8 miles per hour in the wind with that prop at a 4.5 tip speed ratio. So anyway, it's pretty much a decent success. I'm kind of happy about it. I'm going to switch over here to DC amps. See just how hard it gets to turn. Oh yeah. Yeah, with this little bit of a crank, there's 1.5 amps. She definitely slows down. She doesn't spin like a bicycle wheel when she's being loaded. So that's doing pretty good. I'm pretty happy at it. You know, when you're just getting your voltage, she'll spin pretty easy and keep on going. So see how fast I can get it by hand. There's over 20 volts. Not that bad. Oh, I'm quite pleased with it. About ready to go ahead and mount the tail. And when I'm done mounting the tail, I'm going to mount the prop. Let's mount the prop right now. Prop's real easy, so let's get this out of the way. Okay, well, this fits on pretty snugly. It has no slop as far as wiggling this way or anything. Very closely machined. And another part goes on here. And, oh, there it is. Get off there. There we go. There we go. This used to spin in that spot. I grabbed it with a pair of vice grips a little. Yeah, but it's only one spot. And she tightens right up. Alrighty. Tighten that up a little bit. There we are. Alright, and it turns clockwise. So any resistance by the stator due to amps being drawn from it, draws from the mechanical, which keeps everything tight. Keeps this tight, the shaft tight, and everything. And even if I spin her backwards like that, see, it's not gonna change anything. Pretty easy to get apart. When you go to take the prop off, you want to put the wrench on it and tap it that way, rather than just trying to pull it like that. Sometimes the shaft will want to come loose. Then you got all sorts of fun. But just taking it off with the impact works real well, or so I've found. It comes out really nice. Well, I still got to stain this, so I'm going to put the tailpiece on. I got to make a couple bolts, and we'll get back at it. I'm Scott Brown, Green Wind and Other Home Energies. Many good things to you and yours. Well, you look at these trees, you don't see anything. Not a breeze, not a leaf moving. Well, I put the tailpiece on. It sure does look funny. A little short, but with two of them covering that much area, it will track. I had it on here yesterday with one and it was tracking before I mounted all the rest of the stuff. Anyway, I'm glad to see it all together. I might just put it up there. I got to work on the prop on that one. Hey, I got a little breeze. Maybe I ought to turn it in there. They say when you finish up a wind turbine project and you got no wind, that's a sign of good luck. Oh yeah. That is sweet looking. Ooh, it's got an aura. Look at the energy. Well, anyway, it's getting really hard to see into the camera. You look up on the back side here where the white starts. I got double nutted all thread and around over here is double nutted all thread right there too. And then that's just 2 bolts going through the original holes. Measured it out to go on there. It's going to have a different tail. But anyway, I can get some readings, and it's not a furling tail. The new unit should be here in a couple days, and I get to start on the stator on it and get that thing set up, throw the other prop on. And we can get some good tests. It's kind of hard to get tests when you ain't got it hooked up to a battery. That's a lot of trouble. I'd rather just put it up on the pole and put it up on the original wiring and everything that I got the other one on, and I can get the full reading. I might bring it down in 3 wires rather than 2 and rectify it down here at the bottom end and see what I can get out of it. I do have an anemometer thanks to Boomer at Boomtown Laboratories, R-Head 100. So, how to get it up that high and bring it down and read it, that's one thing. I do believe it has a peak setting on it. Let you know what the top reading was. That'll help out. Check out the top wattage coming out. We'll get some readings on this. This is a small unit, but it should crank out a decent amount of power. I'm Scott Brown, Green Wind, and other home energy. Many good things to you and yours.
Mm-hmm.